So we'll move ahead with this material management session. So basically, what do you understand by materials management? Any idea, Baba and Praveen?
No, sir.
Materials management talks about materials planning, procurement required for the organization.
Right, exactly. It deals with mainly procurement, and after you procure the material, how you inventorize the materials, and also the payment that we procure from external vendor. So material management is totally, we can tell it as procure to pay. That means from the procurement till the payment of vendor. Okay, vendor means the external party through which we purchase the materials. Okay, not only materials, it can be also a service. Okay, so in material management we have different we'll say as segments. As master data, we have purchase requisitions, inquiries, purchase orders, material receipts. We can also call it as goods receipts. Then we have goods issues and material transfers, service entry sheet, that is when we do a service procurement, and finally invoice verification, that is vendor payment. So master data, what generally we'll have master data in materials management. We'll have material master, we'll have service master, and we'll have info record, that we can also say as purchase info record, and source list. This is a general cycle. We can say procure to pay cycle, right? That is whenever a team or a member gets an inquiry for the required material, he will raise a requisition, that we call it as purchase requisition in SAP. Then this purchase requisition will go for approvals, that might be the HOD or the managers. And after this approvals, this purchase requisitions will be sent to the buyers. Buyers, we generally call it as purchasing team. So every organization have their own purchasing teams. It can be central purchasing team, or they can have different separate departments for each segment. Okay. After this purchase requisition approvals, then the buyers will fetch for the vendors. That then they ask for vendors to provide the quotation. In SAP, we'll call it as request for quotation, that is RFQ. Once we receive the RFQ from vendors, we'll maintain those quotations in system, and we'll do a comparison between these received quotations, and to the best vendor we'll be providing the purchase order. That is the main document. We call it as a supporting document for procuring the material in SAP. Again, these purchase orders will also have a approval. Then after purchase order approval, this PO will be sent automatically through SAP to vendor mails, or it also can be downloaded as a PDF document and can be sent through external mails. Then as soon as the vendor receives the purchase orders, he will do a confirmation, that we'll tell it as a confirmation in SAP. And once he confirms, inbound delivery will be generated, that will have a planned delivery date. That means when the vendor, at what date the vendor will be supplying the materials with certain quantity, or it can be a full quantity too. So once the materials are received at our premises, we'll do a goods receipt. Then after goods receipt, we'll have a goods inspection, that will go for a quality check. Once it is inspected, then it will be transferred to the unrestricted use. And if there is any defect, then the materials will be returned through quality. Then we'll have a vendor verification, invoice verification, that is payment to vendor for the received materials. So Baba and Praveen, do you have any questions in this procure to pay cycle?
No, sir.
Yes.
Uh,
What are the
yes.
ways of sending purchase order to vendor? You said through email. So
Yes,
what are
it
the
can be
other?
sent. Yes, exactly. POs can be sent through email, or it can also be sent through a PDF document can be taken out from SAP. Then this PDF document will be downloaded into local machines. Then they will be sending this PO document which is downloaded to vendor through manual email communication. Sometimes vendor will also have a third party software which will be, if it is required, it can be interfaced with SAP, so that whenever a PO is created in SAP and it is approved, that PO will be reflected in the third party system. That is totally an interface. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions in this procure to pay cycle? So basically, we will deal only in this procure to pay cycle only. is totally involved with procure to pay. So in what we learn, how we configure the material master, how we create the purchase requisitions documents, how we configure the release strategies for PR and for PO. PR means purchase requisition, PO for purchase order. Then how we do the goods receipt, and what is the process of invoice verification. This totally comes under procure to pay. Okay.
Okay.
And guys, you can stop me if I'm a little fast, or you are stuck in somewhere. If in the topic I'm going on. Okay.
Sir.
So every module we will call materials management as a module. We have materials management as a module. We have other modules also. See, these are other modules which are generally used in SAP for any system. I mean, for any organization. Project systems for infrastructure, they'll be mostly using project systems. Then finance, it is a general module. Every organization will have finance if SAP is there. Finance, controlling, materials management, plant maintenance, sales and distribution, DMS. These are general modules in SAP where organization will be using. Okay, so we'll call it as a module, each modules. Okay. So organization. In materials management module, we have organization structure. The organization structure will start from plant. Then we have storage locations. See here, the client and company code configuration is done by the finance team, that we call it as FI module. Finance team will be basically configuring this client, company code and cost centers. What is our role? That is materials management role is we configure plant, storage location, purchase organization and purchase group. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
So you may ask, what is the difference between purchase organization and purchasing group?
Yes.
See,
Yes.
in a big company like if you say example of a Reliance or a Tata, they are very big companies. They'll be having a purchase department in each locations, and each purchase department will be involving in different buying sectors. Like there might be one in a supermarket, like we have Reliance supermarket, right? And one might be in steels or oils, like that. They're bifurcated. Each purchase organization is bifurcated, and within that purchase organization we'll have different groups. Okay, they're further bifurcated into distribution centers, or based on the locations they're further bifurcated, that we configure in SAP as purchase groups. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, it is clear. Purchase group is there in the organization structure along with purchase
Yes,
organization.
it is a part of organization structure. Okay. For example, if we have a company which is located in multiple countries, okay, so we'll have multiple purchase organizations, okay, and under those multiple purchase organizations, we'll have purchase groups, different purchase groups, again bifurcated based on the location if required. Am I clear?
Oh, yes, sir.
Any questions in this organization structure? Okay, I'll go ahead. So basically, what is a plant? It is a manufacturing unit, or it can be a place where we store the materials, right? Where it can happen, goods receipts and goods issues will be happen. And in SAP, always the valuation happens at plant level, not at storage location level. Okay, you cannot evaluate a material under each storage location. We always manage the valuation at plant level. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as I said, purchase organization, it is basically an organization responsible for procuring materials and services for one or more plants within same company or different company codes or with different countries. Okay. And for the bifurcation for purchase organization, we'll call it as purchase groups. Okay. The buyers, we generally say. And then plant is further bifurcated for inventorying the materials. We'll make it as storage locations in SAP.
Purchase group is a part of purchase organization.
Exactly, it is a part of purchase organization.
Okay.
See, I'll give another example. Like
My
you have
question.
a company, you have a domestic company. Okay, the domestic company is located mostly in Hyderabad. Okay, so the purchasing activity totally happens at centrally, that is at Hyderabad. Okay, but this company also have branches in Vijayawada, Vishakhapatnam. Okay, maybe in Tirupati. So further, we will configure each purchasing department of these different locations into purchase groups. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So master data, as I said, we have different master data, material master, then we have service master, and we have purchase info record and source list. Why material master or any master data is required? Can you guess why master data is required generally? Okay, so mostly master data, why it is required? It is required to minimize the manual entry by the user and also to reduce the time for the user to enter each and everything manually. If you maintain a master data at one level, okay, and if you give that particular code, the all data which is stored under material master will be automatically copied into SAP screen. Okay, basically it is also required for valuation also. Like if you want to inventorize a material without a master data, you cannot make a material into inventory. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in SAP, we'll have a material master. Okay. Basically, the maximum length is 18 character, but in S4HANA, it has been increased to 40. Okay. But in ECC, it is 18 character length maximum. Mostly companies will be using 8 to 10, not more than that, because it will be really hard to remember as well as it will be hard to store also the codes. So they'll be mostly using 8 to 10. So under master data, material master, in material master, we'll have different screens for entering the data. Basic data generally will consist of the material description and its dimension, like it's a meter or it's a liter or it's a each. Okay, and what is the weight? Okay, this all will be stored in basis data. Then we have material planning. In material planning, either this material is responsible for MRP. Okay, then we have plant and storage location stock, where this material will be having under which storage
Double two
location we
four,
need
sir.
to store. Hello,
Ah,
shall I continue?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So basically, these are different views in Material Master, and we as a consultant will be configuring these views, like which material master, like if it is a raw material or if it is a finished material, what are the views need to be entered by the user. This we do the configuration in Material Master. Okay. See, for finished material, there is no need of purchasing screen. So they do not need this purchasing screen to be appeared while creating a finished material master. So these all screen activities and the fields which are need to be entered, this all configuration will be done by us, that is our consultant, consultant. See, this is a screen in SAP for creating a material master, and you can see different screen views here. Basic data, we have classification, we have sales view, purchase view, MRP. Okay, this we done by the consultant. Under accounting view, we'll have these fields like what is the price of the material, either it is a moving average price or it is a standard price, and what is the valuation class. Okay, this all will be entered in accounting one screen. And you might ask like what is the moving average price, what is standard price, what is valuation class, that we can discuss in further classes. Basically they are required for valuation of this material, like which GL this material has to be posted while procuring the material, or while issuing the material, to which GL it should trigger. Mostly it is done with the help of valuation class. You remember this part. As we have material master, we'll also have a service master. Generally services will have only one screen. This is the screen. We'll only give the service group or material group and the valuation class and the description of the service. Then we have purchase info records. What is a purchase info record? It is generally a linkage between a vendor and the buyer. Okay, that means buyer in sense the material which we are procuring from that particular vendor. What it consists, like what is the price of the material which the vendor is providing us for, and what are the discounts, and what is the freight cost involved, what are the taxes involved under that. Okay, basically these all things will be under purchase info record. Why it is required again? It is required so that whenever a material is required for procurement, the purchase department will generally convert this PR to PO. While converting the PR to PO, that is purchase order, all the data like what is the basic price of this material, what is the discount provided by the vendor, what is the freight charges applicable for this vendor, everything will be copied automatically into the system. There is no need to go and check each and every time which vendor is providing what, how much of a discount, what is the freight price of this vendor. No need to check each and every time. So we do this through info record. That is, we call it as purchase info record. It is a part of master data. The second, the same thing as I told you, procure to pay cycle. So RFQs. Once we receive the purchase requisition for a material, if the material is procuring for the first time, then the buyers, or we call it as a purchasing team, will go to will approach the market for the vendors to provide the quotations. Once we receive the quotations, we will maintain into SAP and we provide the purchase order to the best vendor. Okay, these are the account assignment. Account assignment, like we are procuring the material for which purpose? Either it is for asset, or we are procuring for a project, or for a sale order. Okay, and if you are procuring generally, like for procuring to maintain the stock or to use it for own use, then we will not use this account assignment category. We will leave it as blank. These are contracts again. What is a contract? If you want to maintain a long-term relationship with the vendor, Then you will go for a contract. We have two types of contracts. One we call it as a scheduling agreement, and the other is contract. Again, in contract, we have value contract and quantity contract. So as the term itself tells what is a value contract, for a certain value of the material, vendor will be supplying the material at that particular price. Once it exceeds, then he may have to go for a new contract. And coming to quantity contract, as it says, like if he says in an or in annually, if he is supplying like 10,000 quantity or 20,000 quantity at that particular price, he will be having a long-term relationship with this purchasing team for that particular price and particular quantity. Until that quantity exceeds, he will providing the material for the same price which he agrees for. Then scheduling agreement. In scheduling agreement, what generally happens is he will give the schedule of the delivery as well for a year. Like say in a year you want 1,000 quantity of a material. He will give you the scheduling of this material as well. Like in January, I'll be supplying 1,000 quantity. In February, 800 quantity. In March, 1,000 quantity. Like that, he'll give you the bifurcation for a year. Okay, this we store it in SAP and we call it as a scheduling agreement. Any doubts?
Okay, no doubts. Okay.
Okay. These are generally you can you will be coming to know going further. Just I'm giving you an overview to make you understand what we deal with in materials management. Okay, so this is the purchasing screen. I mean purchase requisition screen. Whenever a end user have a requirement for a material, you will raise a purchase requisition. You can see here material master is there 110250. He enters that material number and all this data like short text, quantity he needs to enter, short text, then the material group, okay, and what is the value. Everything will be entered automatically from system by the material masters. Okay, as here you can see at header level, we call it in SAP this part as header and this lower part as item level. Why we bifurcated? Because in SAP each and every data will be stored in a database, that is a table. Okay, and each database table are having different data stored in it. In purchase requisition, all the data will be stored in a table called EBAN, that is EBAN. But in purchase order, we have different table. And for the lower part, we call it as item data. Okay. So here you can see at header level release strategy tab is there. That means this PR is gone for release. See, different persons are releasing this: procurement executive, then procurement head, then the procurement PP. Like that, it can also have the HOD of the department who raised the material requisition, or then it will go for the plant head like that. Okay. So this is the quotation comparison screen. That means when the buyers receive the quotations from the vendor, from different vendors at what price they are providing, we will be maintaining, and after maintaining we do the comparison. This is this comparison screen. Okay, and this comes to the PO. This is the PO screen. As I said, this is the header part. In header part we have different screens, and at item part we'll have different screens. All the header part will be stored in the table EKKO, and the item part will be stored in EKPO. Okay, you will come to know like in item level what data we can see and why it is required to remember the table, everything. Okay, again this PO also has release strategy. It has been released by various departments. Then procurements. Then we have different types of procurements in SAP. Generally, we do standard procurement. There are special procurements also like the consignment, subcontracting, stock transfers, and the third party. What is a consignment? Consignment is that we have a vendor who will be supplying material in bulk, and he will place it in our premises, and we use or consume the material as and when required, and for the consumed material we'll do the payment each and every time. For the best example, I could say for a manufacturing unit, a coal is required. Okay, if the coal is required, he will be ordering it in a bulk. He'll keep it in his premises. As and when required, he'll be consuming that coal, and for that consumed part, he'll be doing the payment partly. Am I clear? This consignment part?
Yeah, Shyam.
Yeah. So coming to subcontracting, what is the subcontracting? Subcontracting is nothing but giving your raw materials or the materials which are required for producing a final product. Okay, we'll providing this materials to vendor who will process them into a final product, or we call it as a finished product. Okay, and he will send us back the finished product. So what are the materials required for manufacturing a finished material? We provide that materials to that particular vendor. He will process them and he will send back us the final product. That is called a subcontracting process. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now coming to stock transfers. Stock transfers, in the name itself, it says that when we have a plant at a different locations and the stock is lying in bulk at one location and there is a necessity at a different location, we can transfer this bulk material which is lying idle in one location to another location through stock transfer order. We call it as STO. Then comes the third party. Third party is where you receive an order from the customer that we need this material, and you generally do not produce that material, but you will give that order to the vendor, and he will directly supply that material to the customer in yours name, and you do the payment for the vendor for the material which is sent to customer, and the customer will do the payment to you, which vendor sent to the customer. Is this clear? Third party process.
Please repeat once again.
Third party processing. Yeah, third party processing is like you do not. Oh, sorry. You do not process or you do not have that particular material, finished material. Okay, but you got a customer order. Okay, requesting that we need 100 quantity of so and so product A. Okay, but you do not have that product. Then what you do? You go to the market. You ask the vendor to supply this product A to that particular customer. In the name, in yours name, he will be supplying that material to customer, and you do the payment to vendor for the material which he sent to customer, and you collect the amount from the customer which he received. Okay. Is it clear? Third party processing.
That means there are two parties are involved in supplying the material.
Yes, two parties are involved. One is vendor who will be supplying the material to customer, and another is customer who will be paying you the amount for the material which is sent by vendor.
Okay.
Clear, Baba?
Yes, sir.
Service procurement, again, it's a general procurement only. Only thing is we have item category as L we have to maintain, and instead of goods receipt, we'll be having a service entry sheet, which we enter like how many hours he has worked for, if it is a service, is or he can say how monthly, like if you have a AC services, if or in a manufacturing plant, if a unit needs to undergo for maintenance each and every month, you will give a order to vendor to provide the service for annum. So each and every month he'll come and do the service, and you do the service entry sheet for that particular month, and you do the payment for that service entry which he has processed for that month.